Headphones got tangled and shit. Last video that we watched, and anyway, you know what, fuck it, forget all that. How are y'all doing? Y'all good? Hope so, I hope so. Having a bud right now. I know y'all seen him. Today is Saturday, so in honor of that, I don't know, bro, I just want to watch some scary videos, bro. No cap. What we got today is horror at the VHS rental store. Let's see. Got my water too. Been trying to go that healthy route, you know? Trying to live forever out here. Okay. By the way, it said Friday the 13th edition. Hopefully we might see Jason in there.
Working at the local rental store was definitely one of my favorite perks of the summer break.
Ain't that him in the poster?
It was my chance to ditch school, earn some extra cash and watch the latest movies on VHS. And I'll admit there were some other reasons why I enjoyed working there.
For the baby girls out there.
But that's another story.
Yeah.
This story, however, began on a Friday night when the owner was suddenly called away due to some personal reasons. I had managed the store alone in the past, but never during the final shift, so this was the first time that I needed to close and lock up the store by myself. I was actually more concerned about not being able to catch the last bus out of town than I was about locking up the store for the first time. After a few minutes of seeing the last few remaining customers vacate the store, I secured the cash register and looked around to make sure the store was empty before closing up.
And that front part dirty, bro. You better pick up the cups too. Why is it so quiet?
I never realized how creepy the store could be with all the lights out, and the fact that I was alone in the horror section gave me enough reason not to stick around any longer than necessary.
Just clock out, bro. Just clock out. Do what you gotta do.
I grabbed the keys from the counter and stepped outside, where I instantly felt the cool night breeze circulating the streets around me.
This man trying to have a whole moment, bro.
It was a quiet place, and a lot of the stores nearby had closed down, which unfortunately led to more instances of crime in the area.
You had it coming,
I must admit, it was a sad thing to see, being the place where I grew up, and it wasn't that long after when VHS stores also became a thing of the past.
That's how you know you don't like that job, bro. He's like,
but I don't miss that particular night,
again, bro.
Which, despite my best efforts to forget, still haunts me to this day.
What?
I locked the door and took one last look before heading down the street, which is when I noticed something that I didn't expect and completely threw me off guard.
Oh.
There was a person still inside the store. It looked like a very tall man, and he was just standing there. I couldn't see his face, so I tried to get his attention by knocking on the glass.
You stupid.
But he didn't respond.
Oh man, he knocked twice too.
I thought perhaps he had trouble hearing, but that didn't explain why he remained in the store even after the lights went out. This was seriously beginning to freak me out. Cell phones didn't exist back in those days, and the nearest payphone had been vandalized. If I was going to call the police, my best chance would be to use the landline phone inside the store. I knew it was risky, but I couldn't just leave the store like that, knowing that there was a stranger inside who could potentially rob the place. I approached the entrance and quietly unlocked the door.
Did they have tapes in the 80s? Comment down. I know they had the film, but did they have the tapes?
As I was about to pick up the phone, I suddenly lost sight of the man.
If not, then it's 90s for sure. It's so quiet. I feel like watching chill. I was about to say, I feel like watching A Quiet Place. I know what you did last
It turned out to be a customer wondering if she could quickly stop by to rent a horror movie. I told her that we were closed and that she would have to come by tomorrow. As I carefully placed the phone back on the hook, I contemplated calling the police, but I was worried that they wouldn't take me seriously. There was no evidence of a break-in or anything missing after all. Perhaps watching too many horror movies all day long was finally beginning to take its toll. Was it really just my imagination? I decided to walk over to the horror section for one last look to see if anyone was hiding.
Oh, shit.
I thought I heard something, but I knew I was probably just being paranoid at that point.
Just clear it, bro. Just clear it. Don't worry about it. Your life ain't worth it.
I went back to the counter and decided to give the owner a call. I knew it was late, but it felt like the right thing to do at the time, which is when the events of that night took a sinister turn for the worst.
Security cameras or something?
To my horror, I realized the phone was dead.
And he cut the
Somehow, in the space of just a few minutes, while I was away from the counter, the phone's cord had been severed. Not pulled out, but finally cut with a very sharp object. As a knee-jerk reaction, I felt a sense of imminent danger from all around me, so I quickly headed for the exit. But the door was locked.
Slice you, bro.
I didn't remember locking it, and my heart sank as I glanced over to the counter and saw that the keys were missing. With my back to the door, I carefully observed the interior of the store to see if anything was out of place. Yet still, there was no movement or any sign of anyone.
Just clear it, bro.
Fortunately, the store was very small, so it didn't take me long to realize that whoever it was appeared to have just cut the phone line and locked me inside in order to escape and prevent me from calling the police. I was actually more worried about having to explain all this to the owner than anything else. Suddenly, I saw someone's shadow appear from the window.
Harley Quinn?
I quickly found somewhere to hide and I tried to see who it was.
Men try to hide. They already know where you are, bro. Oh, man.
Suddenly, the knocking on the window stopped, and whoever it was just walked away. At that moment, I was really confused. If it was the creep from earlier, then why did he come back? And why didn't he use the key?
Stop asking why. Just
I wasn't
get out
a
of
huge
there.
fan of the dark, but I chose to leave the lights off because I didn't want anyone to think that the store was still open. It looked like I was in for a long night stuck at the rental store, so I decided to hang tight and try to get some sleep.
He's stupid as hell, man. You really gonna go to sleep? Yo, what's wrong with people?
The next day also had its fair share of some truly disturbing discoveries. After explaining what happened, the owner told me she had recently gotten out of an abusive relationship and that her ex-boyfriend had been stalking her and threatening to come by at the store late at night. She didn't tell anyone because she felt embarrassed and said that I was very lucky because if it was him, he was probably there with some extremely bad intentions.
Pulled the all-nighter.
It was at that point we were approached by one of the customers who just walked into the store. She said that she phoned the store late last night because she wanted to rent out a horror movie, and even though she was told that the store was closed, she decided to hurry on over anyway when she realized someone was still there to pick up the phone. She knocked on the glass repeatedly, but stopped when she saw something that she would never forget. She described seeing two large eyes in the air vent staring back at her. After she told us what happened, the context of that night suddenly changed into something far more terrifying.
Are you really?
We checked the air vents, but we didn't find anyone. And to this day, I still think of the horror that could have transpired at the hands of that creepy stranger that was hiding in the vent.
That's why he's laying like that, bro. Yo. Nah, man. Alright, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it if you made it to the end. Shoot, man. I don't know. It's Saturday today. I have nothing to do. I mean, it's quarantine. We never have anything to do, you know? I think like every Saturday for sure I'm going to make a scary video since it's already Saturday and it starts with an S, you know? But yeah, guys, I appreciate it, man. Thank you if you made it to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the video. And I'm out.